The movie starts with the line written by Jacob, and that it is written in the line that a slave girl always remains alive in an environment of fear. Then in the movie also it is told that the entire story of this movie is based on real life. The first scene of the movie starts with the name Karen. Karen got hurt a lot by a girl who was kept locked in a wooden box and tries hard to get out of the box, but she is unable to get out of there. Then after several attempts Karen manages to get out of the forest. She looks for a way out but doesn't find a way out. Then a killer comes near her and hits her on the head with a gun, rendering her unconscious, and then the killer drags Karen's body to another place. Then after some time, when Karen's eyes opened, she was trapped in a hanging trap. There were many stitches on her stomach and Karen had to open those stitches and take out a blade from inside her stomach to free herself from the noose. Karen would have to be opened, only then she could be free from there, and this was the type of that killer. Then after a lot of efforts Karen opens the stitches in her stomach and takes out the blade from it, and she cuts the noose to hang herself. Karen falls on the ground from that trap, but due to the opening of the stitches in her stomach, all the gases in her stomach have come out, due to which she feels a lot of pain. Then the killer comes near her and gives her two options: either he remains his slave or he accepts his death. Karen was unable to bear so much pain, so she takes her own life by shooting herself with the killer's gun. The scene cuts and now the story begins. It is after 2 weeks where we see a lady named Hope. Hope had a 6-year-old daughter named Jennifer, and Hope was a single mother for many years, but now she wanted to get into a relationship so that the daughter also wants to have a father. That is why she goes to a restaurant to meet a boy named Rome. Many things happen between the two and both of them share things with each other about their families and their lives. In these short, their date was going very well. Now at night, Hope comes home where her friend Sarah was babysitting for her daughter Jennifer. Sarah asks Hope about her date, where Hope tells her that her date went very well. Hope was thinking of continuing her relationship with Rope, and after that Sarah goes to her house and then Hope goes to her house. She goes to her son's room where her daughter Jennifer was sleeping with her software. Hope sits with Jennifer for a while and the scene cuts here, but in the next scene we see Hope sitting on the same wooden bed as Karen. Hope is seen locked inside the box. She is also having a lot of pain in her stomach and she tries to open the door of the box by kicking and using her hands, but she is unable to open the box. 2 days pass like this, and after 2 days, the killer takes out that box from the pit and the killer opens the door of that box and goes away from there. She comes out of the box and looks at her stomach where there were many stitches. Now she sees her daughter. Jennifer was also worried, and nearby she sees the same soft pillow of Jennifer. At that time the same killer comes there and hits Hope on the head with dirt and makes her unconscious. When Hope opens her eyes, she is like Karen. Similarly, she was trapped in a trap and her friend Sarah's dead body was hanging in front of her. All the intestines of Sarah's stomach had fallen on the ground and there was terror too, meaning that Sarah had opened her stitches to take out the blade. But she could not survive due to pain. Now the third day killer comes to Hope and gives her a curse to open her stitches. Now after opening the stitches, she takes out a blade from inside her stomach and hangs herself. Hope could have survived this leak only by opening it. Hope did not want to do this, but after seeing the condition of Sarah's dead body, she compulsorily starts cutting her stomach and it was very painful for her to do so. But still, Hope somehow opens her stitches. Then later, Hope puts her hand inside her stomach and takes out the blade, and due to the stitches being opened, her stomach's intestines were coming out. Now she is holding her stomach with one hand. And with the other hand she takes the blade and opens the noose of hanging. When the noose is cut, Hope falls to the ground. Then the killer comes near her and the killer stitches Hope's stomach again. Now Hope had become unconscious due to pain. Then nearby we also see many human skulls, seeing which it was understood that many girls have been killed in the same way at the hands of the killer. Now the killer washes Hope's clothes, cleans them and takes her with him to his place. Inside the forest, the killer had made a small camp of his own where he used to live, and whichever girl crosses his trap first, that girl also used to stay there with her. When Hope regained consciousness on the 4th day, the killer was sitting in front of her and now Hope's wounds had also healed, but the killer kept Hope tied with a chain. What happened then? After some time, killer gives water and food to Hope. She was hungry for a long time, so she quickly eats that food. After eating the food, Hope asks killer about her daughter Jennifer. The killer tells her that Hope has no one in this world anymore and now she is his family. She was repeatedly asked about her daughter, so in anger the killer slaps her and leaves her there and goes to his tent. Now the next day, i.e. on the 5th day, the killer asks Hope to clean some utensils and goes hunting, and here the killer had forgotten a knife. After the killer leaves, Hope finds her piece. Hope tries to open the lock but she is unable to open it. Then she sees the knife and Hope goes to pick up the knife, but due to it being made of chain, she was not able to reach the knife. Then she finds a wooden knife. With the help of the knife, she pulls the knife near herself. The killer had also returned from hunting, so Hope again sits at her place and hides the knife near herself. The killer comes there and seeing the utensils clean, he was very happy with Hope, so that is why he gives Hope a small fruit. Now as soon as the killer turns back, Hope was about to attack him but is unable to fight the killer, and the killer slaps her and snatches the knife. Now actually this was all a trap by the killer. He wanted to check Hope's loyalty, so the killer deliberately left the knife there. The killer threatens Hope that if she tries to escape, he will cut the nerves in her knees. And after that, Hope will not be able to even run away, but the killer removes the chain from Hope's leg and locks the chain around her neck, and the key of that lock was now always going to be with the killer, now 6th. On the day, the killer gives Hope a book of gardening tips and he shows her his vegetable garden, and now it was Hope's responsibility to take care of that garden. If even one plant in that garden is killed, the killer threatens to kill her. Because of this, Hope was obeying all the words of the killer and she was also taking care of the garden. Then at night, Hope asks the killer why she is here, why has the killer kept her imprisoned there, but the killer is Hope's, he doesn't answer anything and gets up from there. Now it's midnight. When Jiri was sleeping, the killer was sitting near her and looking at her body, and Hope was not aware of this at all. It seemed that the killer wanted to be intimate with Hope, that too without her permission. Now the next day, when Hope was doing garden work, she saw a very beautiful flower, which Hope felt very good after seeing, but when the killer sees that flower, he plucks it and throws it away. The killer did not want Hope to show her love for anyone or anything other than him. After that, the killer took Hope near a lake to bathe. He takes her in, and when Hope was taking off her clothes, the killer was looking at her, due to which Hope also understood that the killer has to be trapped in this way, so after coming back to the camp from the lake, later, Hope was behaving very well with Claire and she was even seducing her. Claire also gets trapped in her trap and then both of them get intimate. Now the next morning when the killer was sleeping, Hope finds the key of his lock. Hope finds the key and before the killer wakes up, she opens her lock and plans to kill the killer with a knife, otherwise the killer will keep chasing her, but she is unable to kill the killer and this is her fate. It was the biggest mistake, but still the killer did not chase her, so she cut the back of the killer's knees and started running from there. Now while running, Hope had come to a wooden box. She felt that her daughter was there. Jennifer would be a prisoner, but that box was empty, but she finds some of Jennifer's hair and sweater there. She was crying after seeing all Jennifer's things, and then the killer comes there and the killer hits Hope on the head with a stick. And then he breaks her leg in a very brutal manner so that the bone of her leg came out. Now the killer is not known, but Hope is definitely in a position to escape from the killer. She was not there and she was suffering a lot due to pain. Then after that killer drags Hope to his camp and locks her there peacefully, and now no one was taking care of killer Hope. Now he lets her suffer in pain. Because of the pain, Hope was also having panic attacks, but the killer was busy stitching his wounds. He does not pay any attention to her. Now 9 days pass like this. The killer kills his victims. But when she is ready to leave, Hope was unable to bear the pain, so she asks the killer to kill her, but the killer does not kill her. He wanted to see Hope in pain. After the killer leaves, Hope she remembers her daughter and realizes that she will have to live to save Jennifer, so she gathers courage and first straightens the bone of her broken leg and then completely plasters a piece of wood there. Now she was feeling a lot of pain in all these tasks, but she was bearing all the pain remembering her daughter. That day the killer does not return, so Hope spends the day by lighting a fire and eating some flowers. Now the next day when Hope's eyes open, the killer was near her who was looking at her leg. She also sees that the killer has brought a new girl named Mia, who was a teenage girl from a school. Earlier he had also survived tap, and now the killer applies pendant on her wounds to make her his slave, and now he will do the same thing with Mia which he has been doing with Hope. Here Hope meets the killer. She was very angry and felt that the killer had killed her daughter in a very brutal manner, so she challenged the killer that whatever the killer does, she will not be afraid of him. Now 16 days pass like this. Finding herself in this condition, Mia was screaming and the killer was getting irritated by her voice, so he tries to kill Mia, but Hope promises the killer that she will explain everything to Maya and even teach her. That's why the killer should not kill her. The killer also says that Hope does not kill Maya. Then after she leaves, Hope explains to Maya that she will help her, but Mia will have to stop screaming like this, only then she will be able to help her. Mia becomes quiet for a while, but she again starts screaming out of fear, and now she was not even keeping quiet, she was just shouting non-stop day and night. The next day an angry Hope tells her to shut up. But Mia does not keep quiet, so in anger the killer puts a knife in her mouth and cuts her tongue. Then the killer throws Mia's jawin in the fire, but he does not care for Mia, instead he asks her to clean the utensils. And seeing all this, Hope was now very scared. It had been 20 days since Hope had been with the killer, and that day when Hope was working in the garden, she saw a beautiful flower there, the killer. He was about to pluck that flower, but Hope does not allow the killer to do so, and this time the killer also does not do so. Now gradually the killer started taking care of Hope more than Mia, and he used to feed food to Hope more than the killer. To check Mia's loyalty, he places the knife in front of her in the same manner, and Mia was about to pick up the knife to save herself, but Hope already knew that this was all just a trick of the killer. So Hope forbids Mia from picking up the knife, but still Mia was trying to reach the knife, but seeing the killer coming back, Mia sits away from the knife. Seeing the knife in the same place, the killer feels that Mia the killer was very happy with Hope because she is training him to become a good slave. Then at night we see that Mia was stuffing stones in her socks, and even when Hope refuses, Mia does not stop to dodge the killer. Mia had made a weapon for the killer. Then when the killer's attention gets diverted from Mia, then Mia attacks the killer on the head with the same weapon, due to which the killer becomes unconscious for a while. Then Mia takes out the key from the killer's pocket and locks it. She opens the door, and before leaving, she gives the key to Hope so that Hope can escape alive. When the killer regains consciousness, he chases Mia with a gun, and soon he finds Mia and shoots her. But Mia still does not die, so the killer goes near her and kills her in a very brutal manner. Meanwhile, Hob also opens his lock and runs away from there, but he had understood that as long as the killer remains alive, she can't escape from there, so she comes back to the camp to kill the killer. She knew from the sound of the gunshot that Mia was dead, and Hope goes inside the killer's tent where she finds her daughter's software. Taking Ko and a rod with her, she sets out to kill Clue. By then the killer had also arrived there, who was covered in Mia's blood, seeing which Hope becomes even more angry and gets angry. Hope kills the killer instantly by beating him on the same road. Even the killer is unable to fight him, but before dying, the killer tells Hope that even after his death, Hope is not safe, but Hope does not pay attention to this. After killing the killer, Hope takes her daughter's software and starts looking for a way out of the forest. After going some distance, Hope sees a small cabin. Looking inside that cabin, Hope sees her daughter Jennifer, who is very scared. Hope is very happy to see her daughter alive. Then Hope starts breaking the door to get Jennifer out of the cabin, but she did not know that the killer has fitted a trap in the door. When the door opens, the trap gets activated and 2 iron guns are shot into Hope's eyes, causing both of Hope's eyes to burst. Jennifer was seeing all this in front of her eyes, so that it was on her mind. It has a very deep impact, meaning that the killer was right in saying that even after her death, Hope is not safe. Now, Hope's eyes were wide open and Jennifer was also small, so it meant that now both of them would never be safe again. Will not be able to get out of the forest, and with this movie ends here. So friends, this movie is about a psycho killer who kidnaps girls and brings them to the forest and traps them in his trap. He keeps those girls as his slaves, in the same way he killed many girls, but Hope did not agree to become his slave because she had a daughter. She fought with that killer for her daughter, and by killing that killer, she saved her life. Saved the daughter, but Hope made a mistake. She did not pay attention to the killer's words and she lost both her eyes, and thus now both of them will never be able to escape from this forest. So friends, I hope you liked the video.